Hey guys, welcome to the Crypto Cave podcast. My name is Jacob. Today I'm joined by my colleague Phil and my colleague Rufus.
How's it going?
Welcome.
Hello, hello, welcome. I love our intro here because we did forget to announce it, and hello guys,
Yeah,
all the people who know about this.
we
Let's
completely
uh
forgot
let's
to
take
announce anything, so that's
let's
nice.
take 3 minutes out of the beginning of this to go to all our social medias and make this announcement. Um, our,
All right.
I've got Twitter and Telegram.
All right. So, everybody, welcome. This is the Crypto Cave podcast, and we currently we're talking about the current state of the market. And yeah, let's see what the market brought for us this week. Rufus gave me some nice overview that he likes to talk about. Um,
Sounds good. Um,
yeah, so the chart that you gave me, Rufus, what's your thought on it? Currently, the market is a bit, on
it's
his butt, but
so
looks like we're sideways a bit, going sideways for a bit.
yeah, I mean it's a weekly chart there. Real zoomed out. You can see that we have a pretty those are Bollinger Bands in case people don't know what those are on the outside there. So that shows your standard deviation. The inner one is a 1 or a 2 standard deviation, and the outer blue line is a 3 standard deviation. And so you can really see, I mean, we were hitting a 3 standard deviation on the downside on a weekly basis for a while. Typically that means that things are heavily oversold, and we should see some sort of return to the mean. I mean, this is technical analysis, so take it with a grain. But traditionally, in technical analysis, that would be certainly seen as a sign that things aren't going to go down further for a bit. Until we go to the mean. After we get to that mean, after we get to the 20-week moving average, then it's who knows what'll happen. But yeah. Yeah, that's the 20-week is let's see, the dotted dashed line is the 20-week simple. The blue line is the 20-week exponential, and then the orange is the 10-week exponential. Um, anyways, certainly I'm looking for it to trail sideways or maybe up uh, for the next few weeks. And then we'll see what happens after that. I'll be shocked if we see a new low for the year in the next 2 weeks.
So what's your thought on the stock market currently? I'm uh I'm looking at it, and it's a bit of a hit or miss. Next week might be a bit of a bounce upward, I think. But what I'm seeing is there's still not a lot of consumer confidence in the market and stuff like that. It's probably gonna be a pain in our butts for the next couple of months, I think. What's your thought on that?
I mean, I haven't been keeping up with the stock market. You didn't. I wasn't prepped for that. But uh, I follow daily price moves on stocks, and I've certainly noticed that for instance, Coinbase has been bouncing around like crazy, and a number of others on these. Uh, does seem like we are, I mean, the economy's not doing great. Nothing's doing too good. I don't see any sources of joy coming out of the stock market anytime soon. But obviously the Fed wants to keep hiking rates, and that means more money out of the economy, and that money's got to come from somewhere. And the stock market is very liquid. So,
Yeah. You can see. I mean, obviously, Coinbase had some news and starts. I think I read somewhere that they're currently laying off some people, and they even like stopped withdrawals for certain coins a couple days ago. So that's not very good news, I guess. But all in all, I think Coinbase is still, Coinbase is one of the big dogs, and I don't think they're in danger or anything. But in the
I
end, you
mean,
never know.
stopping withdrawals is scary. I didn't hear about that.
I think they did, but it might just be a maintenance window. You never know. I didn't read the full article, so I think maybe it might have been just an hour or something.
Okay.
Exchanges have that all the time. But I mean, it's not like they're currently not that they're currently not allowing people to get to their funds, so that's good. Um, yeah. So let's. I think
Oh,
that's.
oh, it's no, it's their new policy of whitelisting, I think might be what you're talking about. I did hear about that. That they want you to whitelist your wallets
Oh, okay.
for withdrawal, prior to withdrawal. Uh, so, and it takes 48 hours once an address is whitelisted for it to be approved. And you get, an email and a notification that and it's a security issue, obviously, because
Yeah.
people have had their Coinbase, we know people who have had their Coinbases hacked, and yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is if you do the uh throw in an address there and have the withdrawals, force it to be whitelisted with a 48-hour delay. I'm not opposed to that. I mean, Coinbase's whole shtick is that they're like designed for
For safety.
yes, mom and pops, and everybody can, they're secure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think maybe they suspended withdrawals for a bit because they were upgrading their system to this new structure that you're talking about. Obviously, you can't just switch it around in a couple of seconds. So maybe that was why they suspended withdrawals for a bit. But I certainly think it's interesting. I mean, obviously, a person like us, I wouldn't like it actually if I had to wait 48 hours to change an address on an exchange, but maybe there's ways around that. Obviously people can set their own security settings and stuff like that, and I do agree that for every mom and pop's crypto trader, it's probably best if they lock down those funds a little bit more, get a little bit more security in there. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't mind it because the way we use Coinbase, the way I use it and the way we use it is I'm not going to be moving stuff in and out of there frequently anyways. And if it is going in and out, 90% of the time it's going in and out to the same addresses, so that's fine. They're
Yeah.
not delaying that. They're delaying it going to new addresses, weird addresses, and oh yeah, yeah, it makes sense for the way that I would use Coinbase at least.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it certainly does eliminate using Coinbase for API driven solutions. Um, where we if we wanted to create like a business solution backed by Coinbase, but I'm sure that we could probably get around it if we were doing that as well. There's probably like a business version that we could upgrade to, or something. Anyways, I know they got a lot of flack for it on Reddit at least, but everybody gets a lot of flack on Reddit for ridiculous things. So what can you say?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of old old crypto heads that I think are a bit more opposed,
Yeah.
and but everybody who's had someone in their friend group that had trouble, or got scammed or something like that in any way, I think it's better to be safe than sorry. You know, a lot of people getting scammed these days. It's $1 billion industry. Those scammers make bank on people who don't know what they're doing, and giving people a little bit more safety is always a good idea.
Speaking of old crypto hands that might be opposed, what are your thoughts, Phil? Got to get you
Uh,
in on this conversation.
I'm not sure why anybody be opposed.
Yeah, yeah, ditto. It seems silly. Um, well, I guess that's it for our market discussion for the time being, at least.
Yeah,
Anyone, unless you got anything that you want to throw in there, Phil, on your thoughts on market trajectory? You bullish? You bearish?
I
You
mean, he
always
covered
have
it. I think we're due for a snapback, but winter's probably not over.
everyone's good.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
Talking about market, what do you think about the current GPU market? There's this article about that.
Yeah, so I thought this was a good one. You know, I guess they're going off eBay prices or something. I forgot where they does it even say where they're getting their prices? Um,
I think that they're probably talking about resale value, resale
yeah.
prices of cards.
I mean, because I never saw 300% MSRP, um, except on maybe like RX 580s and some things like that.
I think the
Um,
1660S's were going quite over the top as well at that time, because they
Yeah,
were
well,
still.
there wasn't any stock, right? So the only thing,
yeah,
if you went to Amazon, what you were seeing was a used card most likely, and that was heavily marked up. I don't know what the top was, but that sounds about right, maybe 300%.
yeah. I mean, and it was, as I say, like what I was seeing 300% on was like the old cards that had really low MSRPs. Your like 1660s and 580s that were going, MSRPing at like $90, going for 300. I saw that, plenty of that. That said, those things were so dang profitable that you pulled 100% return on them by the time between that 300% and now, if you held them, and sold your coin as you mined it, obviously. A lot of people, I'm sure, didn't do that. The newer cards are the MSRP on a lot of these new cards is so dang high. It's ridiculous because they came out in the middle of the crisis on chips, the middle of the shortage, and then they just kept saying, oh well, we can push the MSRP up higher on a 3090. What's it MSRP at? It says it in there. It's like down a bit, or let me pull up the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's here. Yeah.
yeah.
So the MSRP of the 3090 was $2,000.
Excuse me, sorry. Yeah. You never see that on TV, people sneezing. This is it, people. You get it live and unfiltered. So yeah, $2,000 for 3090, or 3090 Ti, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
$2,000 for a retail. I mean, we're not talking a professional graphics card. This is a retail level graphics card.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I mean, it used to be just at the beginning of all this, 2016.
I think it used to be like $800 or something.
Top of the line was
Yeah.
$200. Top of the line cards were $200. The 580.
Well, I mean, I think when the 2080 came out, 2090, those were
kind of, you're talking about, that's well into the chip shortage and everything that's going on. I'm talking pre chip shortage, pre like crypto mining, GPU mining being like the scale it is today, and pre chip shortage. Top line cards were like 300, 400 at the most. Oh yeah, the R9. What was it? The R9 to 3080. It had a different name that people would always refer to it back then, but it was the like R9 something 3080. But that thing was a beast. It was liquid cooled. It was like it was the first HBM memory, and it was like, I think $380 or $390 MSRP, and people complained to hell about that. Now we're looking at $2,000 MSRPs as almost, that's normal, I guess. I don't know. Is it?
I don't think so. No.
No, the new
personally, for my personal graphics card, I don't think I paid more than like $500 ever. Yeah. And obviously that's not the top of the line, but it's close. It's close. And now you're just getting, lower end.
Yeah, I mean,
something in the middle,
the 3090
Yeah.
Ti is a good card. Don't get me wrong. So is the 3090. I don't think that the 3090 Ti is $500 better than the 3090. I mean, something they do talk about here, they a bunch, is how the 6000 series on the RX side, the AMD 6000 series, aren't we're never doing as well, or trading as high, and are now trading lower. And I mean, that, what can I say? That's a joke. Like the 6000 series is a joke of a series. there's no improvement almost between the 6000 series and the 5000 series. It was just like a rebrand and like, let's slap a higher price tag on a 5000 series.
I think
Um,
AMD does that more
they do
often,
that
right?
regularly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They did
that's
that with
their shtick.
the 480 to the 580. It's basically
Yeah,
the same card. They tweak the
exactly.
BIOS a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
But in the end, I
yeah.
think you could hack the BIOS of a 480 of a 480 right onto the BIOS of a 580, I think. I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
for mining purposes, the 480 was actually better than the 580 because the 580 used more power and got the same hash rate. So, whatever. It used like I don't know, 30 watts more for the same hash rate. I would always get a 480 over a 580 even today.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you know, AMD, I love AMD. Don't get me wrong. They have a way better supply chain. Their software's open source. They focus 100% on the quality of their builds of their cards, and just constantly are trying to get the best card out there and provide it at the best price point. Um, Nvidia, they charge a premium for a product that is essentially the same as AMD products, um, as the top of the line AMD product, but with better software because it's closed source. Um, and then, but they charge a real premium on it. You end up paying. It's like the Apple versus Android kind of thing. You're paying a whole bunch for getting a closed source piece of hardware that is not, it's as good as the cheaper open source, but it has a bit better support and software. um they're they I really don't like the way they manage their supply chain. Obviously this doesn't affect people that aren't working on it industrially, but Nvidia really runs a tight arm across their supply chain. They don't let their manufacturers produce and compete with each other, which is why their prices are so much higher. Whereas AMD just, they produce the chips and say, "Hey, you guys, here you go. We'll sell them to you, and you guys compete with each other. Prices, whatever you make it." You know, Nvidia, when somebody manufactures and sells for below their recommended prices, they'll stop shipping them chips.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I do like Nvidia's support for drivers better. I mean, the stability, they're a
yeah.
bit more stable, but I mean, I've been running AMD cards for a long time and I've never actually had big trouble or whatever. So yeah, I'm still fine with that with their cards and stuff. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
talking about the market
Oh,
though.
well, hold on. Let me just jump back to this because I did want to mention this on it. So yeah, we saw supposedly 300% MSRP to now being like around MSRP, a little bit lower on some of these. But I wanted to highlight on the ASIC side. I mean, a lot of these ASICs, some of them went from going, like I saw people selling. I just went back and saw people selling um S9s back in November. And they were selling S9s for, several $100s. Things a paperweight now. Unless you've got electricity below 2 cents. Um,
I mean, we saw crazy prices. We saw people pay $2,000 for Asics that are now $4,000. You know?
someone that is watching this right now just DM'd me. They want to let you guys know that they've got 18,000 S9s for sale right now, accepting any offers. So
Yeah.
there we go. That's the state.
If you want a nice
Um,
paperweight for your, maybe what you can do is you can put them all in a frying pan and you can fry
There we
some
go.
fries with it.
There we
with the
go.
heat that comes off of it.
I should actually. I might know
What's the
someone.
scrap price on
I was
those?
about to say I might know someone who will.
We should rebuild these.
Audible-
We should rebuild
Um,
these S19s into frying pans.
There we go. That's the
Your
idea.
frying pan makes you money.
So yeah. The top of the line Asics, they saw like a about an 80% drop in prices. I'm talking your S19J 105 terahash, 104 terahash. These days they're going for about 1/5 of what they were doing in November of last year. And then similar drops across the board for the top of the line stuff from What's Miner, etc. And then interestingly, yeah, I mean, where I think the thing on GPUs was, I don't know, was it similar or different? What how do you guys feel about that? Was it the cheaper GPUs certainly did drop more in prices?
Yeah, I
Um,
think the cheaper GPUs were actually marked up more
for sure.
because yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like the hell, the ones we're selling, the P106s, they're still like quite profitable, whereas an S9 is a paperweight today. So I do find that interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's really interesting how yeah, that's obviously a bit of the issue with Asics is that they they as soon as they can't mine anything anymore, they're also worthless, you can't sell them.
Yeah,
A graphics card, obviously, you can still render things with it. You can still sell it to someone who wants to play games on it, or you know,
yeah. I mean,
just
you can
doesn't.
sell it to an internet cafe or something, whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, people need GPUs. Like the chips are valuable alone.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. They still have
yeah.
internet cafes at your side of the pond. They.
No, Asia is where we would sell them, like
Oh
at the
yeah,
internet
yeah.
cafes. Yeah.
Yeah. In Asia, there's a lot of internet cafes. It gives you a very nostalgic vibe if you walk past them. I kind of like the idea. You just throw a couple of pennies into. Sometimes they actually have like coin slots next to them as well. You just throw some coins in, and it's like, okay, you've got 15 minutes of computing for the 10 cents you threw in. It's like, wow.
There
It's
you
like
go.
it's also very dangerous. I always have the idea that those machines are like riddled with like whatever people like installed on them and stuff. It's like,
Sure.
yeah, they have like you could probably get some kind of virus historian there who would like dissect a computer from there and just be amazed by all the malware and spyware and old viruses that are still on there. You know, just get a machine with Windows XP on it, and it's like, good luck.
Yeah, I'm sure. I do love those internet cafes. They have a whole culture over there of like, the guys all hang out in those internet cafes. They're all playing against each other or on a team or something, like yelling at each other. It's great.
Yeah, and
It's
it's always like the owner is always like he's like some kind of big dog there
yeah,
who's like, I'm the boss here. This is my internet cafe, and if I don't like you, I'll kick you out. And everybody like respects the guy a bit because they all want to, and obviously he gives his friends free credits and stuff.
yep.
It's always, yeah,
We should we should start one.
it's a cool
We should
culture. Yeah, yeah.
um yeah.
Over here we
Anyways,
don't even I mean, even arcades here are like hard to find, I'm not sure. I mean, probably in New York as well, because the prices are just through the roof, it wouldn't be viable to have an
we
arcade,
have
but
we have those 3D arcades, like where got the 3D goggles, and then they have like the walk-in machines and the whole body harness strap stuff and
oh
all that.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
we've got a bunch of those.
The hipster arcade
Uh,
basically.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the 3D goggles, but it's not just the 3D goggles, because you'll get like, they've got that machine that you can like walk on,
Oh
and then it's
yeah,
got like
yeah.
the body harness, and you've actually got like a gun and stuff. It's a whole thing. It's like, who's got the money for that in their house, or the space in New York, you know. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the
Hey, DJ Mines just joined us in our chat, so shout out to DJ Mines.
I love how we've got like a bunch of people that watch us that are like, industry professionals or other YouTubers, etc. And we've got like no consumers or so. I mean, I hope that some of our customers, at least, I think some of our customers watch it. I do
Yeah,
post in the
yeah.
Crypto Cave, but
Talking about some news though, did you read that article about how Axie Infinity got hacked?
no, I didn't.
Axie Infinity was this play to earn game on what chain was it? I'm not sure. But so what actually happened was so what hackers did was they got close to some of the guys working there, pretending like they were recruiters, and they sent them an infected PDF file containing some malware. And so what in the end ended up happening is they took over their nodes, which it's quite interesting though. They have, I think what happened was they had, I think in total 8 nodes. So they took over 5 of the nodes and then did some kind of attack where they stole all the money. And right now they upped their security by instead of using 8 nodes, using 11 nodes. So yeah, that'll protect
There we
all
go.
your
That
money.
that 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 that's it. Yeah, just add another node, make it, a little bit harder. Come on.
You gotta still make them able to I think in the end, hacking it's basically winning the game, right?
There you go.
That's what they're saying
Yeah.
to the baddies out
N-
there,
Now that was level one. Now it's level two. Come on,
Guys,
guys.
Yeah.
these systems are just as secure as proof of work, guys. Look.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was yeah, I was flabbergasted when I read it. It's like, how the hell do you I mean, so what they basically needed was 2 employees to take over the full $620 million worth of ETH in their address. So, yeah. You know, it's a clown world. It's a clown world. It's you see that everywhere, you know, people with just a little bit of knowledge and all of a sudden they have millions in their bank and just waiting for
That's
it
a
to get
perfect
stolen.
segue. That's a perfect segue to this article on U.S. millennials owning more crypto than mutual funds.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what are they calling a millennial these days? I'm a millennial, aren't I? Like, are millennials are becoming boomers, aren't they? Like,
Well, I mean,
Slowly.
boomers will stay boomers, but in the end, millennials will become the new boomers, obviously.
I just want to call myself a boomer. Come on. Let me call myself a boomer already.
I
I want to
mean,
go boom.
you can never be a boomer, you know. To be a boomer, you have to have, you know, bought a house for less than 50,000 bucks, you know.
Well, you know, I could probably
If
do
you
that
if you
in
bought a house
fucking.
for the price of a peanut butter sandwich, then you're a boomer.
There we go. Oh, love it. Well, it depends how you measure that house. Is it do you measure it in Bitcoin, and is it Bitcoin '09 and Bitcoin 2019? You know, what's the deal there? Um, yeah, you know, I like millennials, it seems like what's his name? Bakeman Fried. Isn't he a millennial?
I have no idea who Bakeman Fried is. He sounds like
Yeah,
I say sounds
CEO of FTX.
Bakeman Fried. His name is Bakeman Fried. He sounds like someone who sells, you know, it's like the Colonel of KFC or something like
Love
that.
that you don't know who it is, because like he's taking over the entire crypto world,
Yeah.
and like he's just coming out of nowhere and like taking over everything. It's great. Nobody knew who he was like 2 3 years ago, and now he like owns some of the largest crypto companies and is trying to take over Robinhood, and you know doing a bunch of insanity. What can you say? Um,
I mean, in the end,
if I was
everything's
a
just
conspiracy
one step
man,
away from doing a wrong move and, you know, having to be bailed out by some other companies, right?
yeah, that's kind of what he's doing. He's scooping up distressed companies, and like I don't know, it seems suspicious to me. I don't know where he's coming from, and like the fact that he's just kind of jumping in all of a sudden from a background in like fund management. I don't know, seems suspicious, but he's doing good work, I guess. So who might rile
Markets are
against
going to
him?
consolidate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see what he does. Um, anyways, what's our next article here? My point on that was like if we're including him in millennials and people like him, there's a lot of people. I mean, hell, Vitalik's a millennial. So yeah, and not surprising that Vitalik and Bakeman Fried own more money, own more crypto than mutual funds. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is our next one. One of the bigger crypto mining giants. They dumped most of their Bitcoin holdings in June. I mean, why?
So
Yeah.
I mean, this is an interesting one, I think, because it's core scientific. They're basically our biggest, they're like the B2B version of crypto caverns. They're, um, they are the most legitimate, largest alt mining company. They do obviously do Bitcoin mining as well, but they're really focused on the core technology of mining and proof of work, and they do a lot of alt mining. and they're really well run. I have a lot of respect for them. Anyways, they're dumping them in order to buy mining rigs, and in order to like get more mining, which is, sounds familiar. Um, Sounds like something that we've been doing ourselves. So I felt like that showed we're in good company, and wanted to highlight that. I mean, this is the time to be buying them rigs up because the prices are great. And particularly June was awesome because you could get so much for your crypto back then. And sure, people are always complaining, oh, well, it's half of what it was, but it's double what it will be. And you got to compare it to what you're getting on the machine basis too. How much hash power can you get for that money these days? And I actually think right now is a great time to be buying machines. I was very happy to see that we are in good company, as I say.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What I find interesting though is like hash rate isn't really going down anymore. I mean, obviously you've seen it in the this is last month. You've seen it at the beginning of the month that it went down a bit, but it seems to be going sideways currently. So that means that a lot of hash power is still there. There's still a lot of people mining in the market, and obviously currently I'm showing the ETH hash rate. But if I show you
I'm
the
I'm I'm not sure. I see something totally different on Etherscan. And I always find it weird. And I think that the reason that a lot of these other ones are showing the wrong hash rate for network hash rate is because they didn't uh, calculate the difficulty bomb at all. But if you look at Etherscan, which does calculate the difficulty bomb and adjust for that, hash rate is still going down pretty much exponentially.
I mean, I was only showing the last month, so if you look at the last month, it looks the same.
I mean, let's see here. Last month, so you're talking from what to what date here?
Currently I'm getting June 13th till now. But
I
if
mean,
you look at the two charts, they basically look the same.
but on June 13th, it was like 1.042 million, or
But
1 point.
that's what I said. That's what I said. You see it in the beginning of the month still going down a bit, but it looks like in the last 2 weeks it's been going flat.
I mean, we've gone from 9.1. Hell, on June 27th, it was 943. Today it's 900. That's I. That's a pretty dang quick, significant decrease in hash rate versus anything we've seen historically. Um, that's a faster drop and more of a drop than we've seen on the fastest drop in history before 2021 or whatever. Yeah, before
Yeah, it's
2020.
in 2021 on June in June 2021 we had a quite steep drop as well.
That was China going offline,
Yeah, yeah.
and we cleared. Yeah, we went from six a high of 600 whatever 29 or so to a low of 493 over May 16 to July 1st. So yeah, that's like a 2 month drop of 200, whereas over the same 2 month period we've gone uh it's great because it's actually the same exact 2 month period. May 16th You can go May 16th, or I guess it's not May 16th. It's right before May 16th. It's May 13th. May 13th to July 1st, we went 200 points as well.
All right, before we get segued on hash rate, let's go to the next story. You send me a story about the European government actually
You guys
listing.
are living in the land of promise. What can I say?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's
I
interesting.
can't believe that
I think we
New
talked
York.
about this. I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? About nuclear, or was it the week before? I think we were talking about them having to, step up their nuclear game over here in Europe, and basically they did that in a week.
There you go. I mean,
That's
I can't believe that New York is so backwards now that we're more whatever like psychotically in denial of reality than Europe is at this point. We're saying here that natural gas is not green. In Europe, they're calling natural gas green finally. Natural gas produces almost no CO2. The idea that it would be considered you know, a non-green energy source. Sure, in theory it isn't. If we but if we converted all of our current fossil fuels to natural gas, we would not be facing global warming. Period. Like, that's huge. We could increase our energy consumption dramatically before we would achieve even close to the same carbon footprint off natural gas versus oil and coal. So we should be, if the goal is to reduce CO2 emissions, which I always suspect that a lot of these progressives don't really view that as a goal, but I do actually give Europe credit that they seem to view that as an objective sometimes, from time to time. And if that is the objective, then natural gas is definitely a huge tool on the way there, especially given the fact that you can use existing infrastructure designed to process coal and oil to process natural gas. Anyways, I could go off on it at length, but no need for that. Let's hit the next article.
yeah. Let's go for the next one. Let's see. I love that the Reuters article that you gave me isn't working.
Oh, access denied? Oh, that's interesting.
Access denied. Are you getting an access denied as well?
I see what happened.
Yeah.
I pasted it twice.
Let's see. All right, I have it. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's go. Yeah, so the chip stocks are currently hammered. Micron, it signals a warning in demand, and I think it's going to get worse even. What do you think?
I don't. I don't. I actually think that. Sorry. I think that it's part of a cycle. And yeah, I don't think it's gonna get worse. I think that it's right now there's an overcorrection going on. And I definitely don't think it's gonna get worse. That was actually why I wanted to highlight it. Because I want to make that prediction right now that this is an overcorrection in the chip market, and we're going to see demand for chips rebound quite thoroughly. over the next 3 months. And I think that right now, everybody, but especially Nvidia, is making really foolish steps. Though I don't know if they're making foolish steps completely, but Nvidia is not doing things that are going to benefit their consumers because they've been decreasing production dramatically and even discontinued production on the 3080 cards, and have talked about delaying their 4000 series launches. And literally they're just trying to prop up the price of their stuff and keep their margins, really high. Hey, my nephew's visiting here. But yeah, anyways, that's my prediction. Over the next 3-4 months, you're gonna see Nvidia's go back above MSRP, and the chip makers and all the chip stocks are gonna go back up over the next 4 months. I just wanted to make that on video right now. So we'll
All
see
right.
what happens.
That's interesting. That's interesting. So if I buy some AMD stock right now, I can hold them
It's gonna
above
be
your head.
it's gonna be relevant to market. So you gotta short the S&P, you know, along with that. But yeah.
Oh, you got a hedge on the S&P to make it work.
Yeah, because I have no idea. Because uh, we're not printing money anymore. They're taking money out of the economy. The market could collapse significantly. I don't want you to blame me for your losses. Come on.
You know, in the end, I blame no one for my losses except for myself. I lost. It's like that meme where it's "Dear Diary, I lost everything again." That's just me.
Phil, you want to step in there?
Story of my life.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do is, find a nice wife, make some kids, sell them for crypto, and start over again.
There you go. There you go.
Also, this is not financial advice,
Yeah,
obviously.
selling your kids is not financial advice. Just for everybody's, just to make sure that everybody knows that. Let's see the next one.
I think it's
I'd be interested to talk about because we're running out of time here, guys, and we haven't even gotten to my big state of the chips.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so what do we want to do here? We want to jump over to the state of the chips.
All right.
Let's do that.
Let's
Yeah.
see where I can find that.
Here,
Is that the
I pinned it. All right. That is not it.
this one? Yeah. So
So
Samsung's rumored to begin mass production of 3 nanometer chips next week.
yeah, this is the big deal. 3 nanometer, guys. We're at the cutting edge. I wanted to do, and is it okay if we run over by a bit? I wanted to play this video if we could, but we're gonna end up going over on that. So I think that's okay. It's just the three of us, so whatever. Let's do it. Are you able to play the video with sound?
I think so. Yeah.
Let's find out.
Let's see. Nope. It's not.
Nope.
It's not showing up in the. For some reason, I have my desktop audio changed, but I'm not sure why not. To be honest. Let's see.
I could actually do it and pipe the sound through my thing here by going live. There you go.
Whenever semiconductor technology faced challenges, there has been a guiding light to help navigate the maze. Evolution of transistors is a major component of technology development. Planar transistors have been used for generations, with voltage scaling to save power. However, short channel effect ultimately limited usability. FinFETs were the solution and made further voltage scaling possible. Unfortunately, limitations are faced again. For ideal electrostatics, the channel needs to be fully surrounded by the gate. This is known as gate-all-around. Typical GAAs are nanowires. However, integration complexities of nanowires outweigh the benefits. This led Samsung Foundry to create a unique version of GAA with all the advantages but minimal complications. Samsung Foundry proudly introduces our multi-bridge channel FETs. MBC FETs consist of multi-stacked nanosheets. One advantage of MBC FETs is that additional area is not required to improve speed. FinFETs need fins to be laterally added, while nanosheets can be vertically stacked. MBC FETs are compatible with FinFET designs. Designers can replace FinFETs with MBC FETs without changing the footprint. Performance can also be improved without area increase. MBC FETs are the most advanced technology that provides solutions from low power to high performance applications, including AI, autonomous driving, 5G, and high performance computing. With MBC FETs, Samsung Foundry will be the guiding light for the future of the semiconductor industry. Samsung Foundry. Samsung Foundry.
Well, that was pretty cool. I can hear myself though, so I'm going to.
Doesn't that just get you so excited? We're here. The future's here.
It's cool. Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyways, didn't want to anyways, we had to show it because it just gets you so hot and bothered getting on everything that's going on. 3 nanometer, MBC FETs, we're doing it all. Well, hate to burst your bubble, guys, but
I mean, they're doing all these cool things, but everybody knows nothing will ever replace Bitcoin.
This goes right into it. This goes right into that. So it's great because we've got all this supposed development going on, and 3 nanometer, and the big question is Samsung gonna beat, because Taiwan Semiconductors, they're not scheduled for 3 nanometer to go into production until 2024 or so, and yet somehow Nvidia, Intel, Qualcomm, all the big players are all lined up for Taiwan Semiconductors and not Samsung. So what's going on? Samsung's going into production this week, right? We just saw the video. It's here. All of us have hard-ons for it. Come on, where is it? And anyways, the thing is, what's happening is that last time Samsung produced their 4 nanometer sheets, which are 4 nanometers, are just 5 nanometers rebranded basically. They and let's pull up the next article here, which highlights that the Samsung isn't selling these 3 nanometers. They're not going to any of the big money, the big players. They're going to dun, 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 Bitcoin mining. Oh my. So we're gonna get 3 nanometer Bitcoin mining now. Oh my lord! Here it comes. What's miner supposedly? I've got sources that say it's What's miner that's doing this and is going to be um first in line. But you know, we'll see.
Chinese
It's all
application
rumors.
specific IC firm. Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're saying it's what's minor?
yeah,
That's
that's what I've heard.
interesting.
It's all rumors.
It's rumors.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you know, certainly I think it's going to make What's Miner stand out tremendously, and it's a good move probably by What's Miner, but you know, What's Miner and you know, even Bitmain, they don't have anywhere close to the type of money that Qualcomm or Nvidia have. So how are they getting in line in front of them? Well, let's jump to the next article here and keep this in mind. You know, and let's not get too excited about the next generation of Asics. Uh, here, so keep in mind that last time Samsung produced their 4 nanometer chips for Qualcomm, who was first in line for those, 10% of them worked on production. And of those 10% that worked, they didn't even work as good as their 5 nanometer chips. Like what I mean is that 90% of the chips that they manufactured at 4 nanometer just were DOA. They were dead on production. They didn't actually work at all. You couldn't run current through them. They weren't working. And then of the ones that you could run current through, none of them could hit
They're
the
promised speeds.
yeah, exactly. Their hertz were not able to get hit. And so Qualcomm left. You know, and since then they've been able to increase that a bit, but the Samsung is not. They've got a really bad rep right now over that.
Oh, so what you're saying is basically because people left for TSMC, right now Samsung is kind of desperate and trying to do something new. Is that what you're saying?
They're pulling out all the stops and they're trying to be the first to market with this FinFET CFET sorry, not FinFET, CFET technology. But yeah, here you can see that everybody is lining up for Taiwan semiconductor processes. This is where all the big money's going. And as I say, they're putting money down right now and getting in line for production that isn't even scheduled for the next few years. Whereas with Samsung, everybody's just taking a wait and see attitude, and they're just assuming that Taiwan Semiconductors is going to do better. And you know, they're probably right. Even now, obviously, if Samsung can pull off even like if they can pull off 10% that are able to hit 4 gigahertz, that will be huge. But it'll be a game changer, but it will not oversee Taiwan Semiconductors. And I don't think anybody has that priced in or is even thinking that's a possibility. 10% working perfectly would mean that they would be hitting like 80% of their chips actually working, which would be huge. I mean, that would be game changing, but it wouldn't overthrow Taiwan Semiconductors. I mean, if we go to Taiwan Semiconductors, we're finally getting data. This is the next one, the final piece of this puzzle, so to say. We're finally getting so this just highlights their Taiwan Semiconductors official statements on their N5 versus N3, N2, and ones. Or sorry, versus their N3 and N2s. Sorry. And these are so this is the 5 nanometer versus the 3 and the 2 nanometer projections. 5 nanometers currently in there. We've finally like seen enough of the 5 nanometer that we have really got an idea of how it performs. And keep in mind that Taiwan Semiconductor had been advertising 170% increase over the 7 nanometer with it. So what we're actually seeing is 155% at most to 145% at least on the low end versus their 7 nanometer. That's a big deal because previous generations of chips have typically increased 200%. So seeing it not even hit the 171% that they were advertising, which was already low, that's a big deal. And now if you look at this, they're only advertising 33% increase in speed versus when going to their 3 nanometer. If you calculate it out, because they're also getting an energy more efficiency on the energy side, you can do the calculation there, and it is about 150% increase, meaning a 50% overall increase versus their 5 nanometer to their 3 nanometer that they're projecting. That's a big deal. So they're not even projecting 170% increase now. They're projecting only 150% increase to the next generation. So we're seeing smaller and smaller increases. And we're seeing more and more issues on production. It's not just Samsung that is suffering, but everybody. But production is getting more and more competitive. And one last thing I wanted you to pull up there is that. Because this really highlights what we're seeing in the industry as it's just getting harder and harder to produce chips over the years. So this shows you all the players in the industry with the different so going back to 2002 when we had the 130 nanometer chips. I mean, there were 25 players in the industry back then. And with the 90 nanometer chips, we went to 18. I guess it was 26 to 18. 65 nanometer, 45 nanometer, went down to 14 players in the industry. Now with the 7 nanometer, 5 nanometer, 10 nanometer area, we're at 3. There's only 3 players left in this entire industry. Chip fabrication is costing like $13 billion startup cost for chip fabrication. I mean, and you have to be able to lose that money. I guess $5 billion is the cheapest of the new generation plants that we're seeing come online. And that's a risk bet. You're getting you're betting on that your company is going to be the one that is going to produce the best chip or at least be competitive. And you're putting $5 billion down on that. That's why this is getting smaller and smaller, and that's why GPU prices and ASIC prices and everything are going up and up and up because we are hitting the end of Moore's Law. I mean, we're not there anymore. We're not doing 2x every 18 months. We're doing 1.7 and 1.5, and it's getting lower and lower. And, we got to consider that as we talk about supply chains, as we talk about development, as we think about any miner that isn't thinking about what is the value of his rig going to be today and tomorrow. I mean, Bitcoin mining today is still probably going to hit Moore's Law for a little while, simply because it's new. There are innovations that can be hit. And obviously I'm always afraid of Bitcoin mining because SHA-256 is not quantum hard, and the breakthroughs in quantum computing are happening like crazy. But Ethash, Kapow, Grin, these are quantum hard, cuckoo cycles. They're quantum hard. So I'm not really worried about it on the GPU side. But
Though those supercomputers would pose a big threat to the whole cryptocurrency ecosystem, though.
when you say supercomputers, you're talking quantum computers?
I'm talking about quantum computers, obviously.
Yeah,
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 I'm not
yeah.
talking about supercomputers, but yeah, quantum computing.
There's a lot of stuff, but there has been a concerted movement within the cryptography space on most of the newer coins and the coins that get frequent updates to be quantum hard. And make sure that because we know what is quantum hard. We can do that math. We can do the math and figure out, okay, theoretically, what could a quantum computer solve exponentially better? What types of equations can they do better? And the types of equations they do best basically are what are the ones that are also ASIC, non-ASIC resistant. There's a big correlation between being non-ASIC resistant and being quantum hard, because what quantum computing can do is it can do a single problem a whole bunch of times, like basically infinite number of times, instantaneously. It can kind of identify what is the correct solution for problem XYZ. But if you create a problem that requires the solution for the previous problem, DAG, I'm talking, where you have to integrate every step along the way, you've got to integrate prior work into the next level. That then is very hard for quantum computing to do.
Makes it
more
so much
efficiently.
harder. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Because
we can talk a lot about quantum computing and
Yeah, we
how
could have a
how
whole
it
episode about that.
brings there. We can have a whole episode on
That
that.
would be a good one. We should get some guests on that and whatnot.
We should have someone, who it would be awesome if we could find someone who actually did the research or something like that. Someone cool who who
I think
has some research in that.
my point on, I guess, the state of the chips and whatnot is keep your eyes on what's minor, on Samsung and on AMD, because I think those are going to be the next sources for great hardware, potentially. And a lot of it's going to depend on how Samsung does on these 3 nanometers. I mean, don't get your hopes up too much, but if they do good, it's going to be a big deal. And even if they do okay, if they don't do horrible, it's going to be a big deal. And AMD looks like they're not cutting production, whereas Nvidia is. So expect AMD prices to continue to go down. AMD has a better supply chain management structure. They're able to deal with ups and downs in the market, which gets them a lot of flack from the gaming community because they price at market pricing. Whereas Nvidia tries to not price at market pricing and ends up giving a bunch of money to scalpers, which is,
I mean,
whatever.
they always try to get their knickknacks with their ray tracing and stuff like that out there.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I mean, usually AMD, always figures out a solution to make it easier for everybody with their open source solutions. So I think in the end, we'll find
Speaking
out.
of, they did just hire a bunch of new open source engineers, which I thought was a really great move. It looks like they're trying to, because there are a lot of issues with their ATI, current solutions that have been brought up by a lot of us in the industry. There's a lot they don't have the support that they could, and they have heard the industry, and they're spending all this extra money they got recently on getting engineers that are specialized in open source development. So I love that because they're going to start supporting the open source solutions better. I think that's just going to be so much better than Nvidia. I think they'll actually, because open source can be way better than closed source if it's got the support. Look at Firefox, etc. Ubuntu, yada yada. But
I
they have
mean,
lacked the support before.
look at Steam Deck. Currently
Yeah.
a lot of games are being made to be played on Linux, and I think it's awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's not where I want it to be, but it's getting there a lot faster due to Valve actually sticking up
Supporting it.
for
Yeah.
Linux gamers, which is nice. Um,
Love it.
so anyway, guys, I think this is the end of
Yeah,
today's
we've
session.
gone
We've gone way
over.
past our initial hour that we
Yeah.
usually talk for. I mean, we're probably just making up for last week where we ended
Yeah.
10 minutes early. So
So
yeah, so
next week I think we should do basic. We should do basic in the state of regulation in the crypto industry.
yeah, let's
And
talk about
let's
crypto
do that.
regulations, get some people
Yeah.
on board, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'll be
And
nice. So anybody still watching, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you want. So and I think we will see you guys next week.
sounds good. Um, take care. Talk to you guys.
Take care, guys.